Speaking of firing things up, I actually think this one's ready to go. I've got the fuel pump finished, which actually took a little bit of doing, and I still need to wire a few things in, but while I was waiting, I figured I would stick the AEM computer in, I would load the base calibration file, and I put some gas in the tank, and I'm kind of curious to see if it you know, run and start idling on this base file. Well, look at that. Ooh, she's a little smoky. But it hasn't been around for a while, so I'm gonna put the wideband in and clean up the cranking calibration. And this thing should be good to go. Yay! We have a running car. What do you think, senor? It's Monday. Hopefully it goes. Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, I gapped him a new set of plugs down, and there's a few things you should know about this thing. Thing number one is, like I said, he just bought it on the internet. It's just a stock GSR. Thing number two is it made 330 on ethanol last time, but we were kind of running out of fuel. And we're gonna see what we can do about that today. Thing number three is what? It was really, really fast, and the last stock motor didn't actually break in the way you would think it would. It actually dropped a valve, which hardly ever happens, but I guess it did on this one. So as you can see, the setup's not that crazy. It's basically just a bunch of like pieced together eBay stuff, including the turbo and manifold. Nothing fancy, like nothing expensive on this whole thing. Matter of fact, probably the most critical and expensive thing in this whole car is just the fact that it's running on the Honda computer, and that's about it. Aside from that, this car is as basic as you can get, and the motor's completely stock. So if we actually make it to a really good number today, that'd be pretty awesome. Bro, that is not gonna do it. That is not gonna do the business. You got a PWM on like a plastic coupler. You can try to make like 30 PSI on this thing. That's gonna like swell like a balloon and just blow out. Oh my goodness. All right, good thing we have couplers. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, that was some crazy dynoing. He needs to go get a front end alignment. The tire on the one side is like towed super out, and so it was feeling like really, really sketchy, and I didn't want to keep dynoing. But on a good note, it was making a ton of power. Even super, super rich, making partial pulls, it made 245 torque. And that's really, really early on, like 4,800. So if you guys could imagine, this will probably make more like, I don't know, 300 torque or so. And 300 torque on this motor at 9,000 could get him somewhere close to like maybe 480 or 500 horsepower. So he just needs to get an alignment and come back. We'll get the boost controller working a little bit better. We were hitting boost cut. I think his lines are just backwards, which is no big deal. We'll flip them and get that sorted out. But anyway, for all you guys who have like, you know, like a real basic Honda Civic with really cheap parts, it should give you some hope, because that's a ton of torque and power for such a simple setup. Just a few more tweaks, senor. You'll be back in no time making the big numbers.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're back today, and we have, I know, it's another Honda. I'm sorry. We're gonna get some Nissans in here pretty soon, but this is the EP3 Honda Civic. It's got a K24 swap. It's fully built. Compression's about 9:1. It's got a decent sized turbo, and it's been boosted for a little while. But he says it doesn't really feel. It's fast enough to break the tires free, but it's not as fast as he'd like. So we're gonna make a pull right now on the tune that he did, And then I'll probably just switch the whole tune out for another one, and we'll make a pull on that tune and see what it does. Okay, so we got to about 260 horsepower, and we've got some spark issues, and he needs to add a fuel return line like we did on Yari's car. That way we can rise fuel pressure with boost. So once we get a little bit more fuel and a little bit better spark, he needs some plugs, this thing can come back and make probably 350, maybe even 400 horsepower. So we have high hopes for it next time, but this time it only made 261. I'll show you the graph here in just a second. Dude! It's already in there.
Yep.
Well, that looks nice. We'll have to see how our $110 eBay/Amazon radiator works. The funny thing is we got the really fancy like actual Mishimoto fans, which they've been working just fine, I think. We didn't really get to test them for too long, but they seem okay. We'll have to see how the generic radiator functions comparatively. So. Should be pretty good. Man, are you excited to get this thing back on the road?
For sure.
I can't even wait. Like, check that out. Alright, so as Raven puts that radiator back in his car out there, I figured I'd show you. We're working on this really nice 2015 Nismo 370Z, and it's here for a few things. We're going to put some cooling mods on it and probably go on the dyno. I don't know if we're doing the dyno in this video. It might be like in a week from now because I just am kind of backlogged on the dyno at the moment. But anyway, we got this really cool oil system here. This is the factory oil cooler, and this is the new sandwich plate that goes in its place, and this is the new cooler right here, which should at least, I mean, double the amount of cooling that it would have regular. I mean, these don't work very effectively. They do cool some, but they're not ever enough in my opinion. So we're installing this system now, and we already did a lower temperature thermostat. It's already in the car. It's just the factory one. That's pretty cool. And we did a new radiator. So the new radiator is already in. That should be adequate. I believe it's a Mishimoto, so should do just fine. So new radiator, lower thermostat, temperature, you know, whatever, and new oil cooler. This car is gonna be a cool little car. All right, let's go for it. Stop! Turn it off. Gosh, what a horrible start. Who sells an oil cooler and doesn't tighten up their own fittings on the end? It's already gasketed, ready to go. It's not like they gave it to you in pieces and told you to assemble it. Also, there's no freaking instructions. Horrible. We just finished installing this oil cooler, but apparently, like, whoever put this back together when they're assembling it at their manufacturing facility didn't actually tighten up the ends, so it leaked just a few drips of oil out. But it's just enough to make me really irritated because I spent a lot of time making sure all of our fittings don't leak. And here I am, fixing the manufacturer problem. That sucks. But this is a pretty cool cooler and should keep the temps nice once we get it all snugged up. I'm going to go ahead and snug these bolts up right here, and we'll fire it back up again and see if it actually doesn't leak this time. Alright, we're going to have Yari fire it up since he happened to be walking over here right now. Let's see if this thing doesn't leak oil. Okay, looks good. No oil leaks this time. Problem averted. Alright, you can go ahead and shut it off. Cool. It doesn't leak anymore. We're good. Good to go. No more leaks. That's what we like. We do not like leaks around here. Oh man, I hate leaks. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up. Okay, we got this S2000 all up and running. Tomorrow we get to see what it makes on the dyno in the morning. I'm pretty excited. customers driving from out of state to come check it out, so should be a pretty good time. We'll see you guys back here in the morning. Alright guys, we're back and it's morning. We're working on the S2000. The owner just drove like 5 hours to get here, and we're just kind of buttoning up the last kind of few things. Bleeding the coolant, make sure it's all full and good to go, checking fluids. After we get done dyno tuning this, he's got to drive it home. How many hours? Like 5 hours?
Yeah, about 5 hours.
That's that's a lot. So we're gonna keep the tune pretty conservative and keep him like, I mean, it's a 2 liter, probably 450 is okay. On my dyno, because it doesn't read super high, I like to keep it closer to 420 for horsepower on pump gas before we start, you know, getting a little bit of knock and stuff like that. So we'll see what it does. We think the wastegate might be like 12 pounds of boost, but we'll have to see once we fire it up. So we're gonna button this last couple things up, and then we'll show you guys some good dyno stuff. It's probably hard to hear me. There's like 15 fans going right now, but we made our first pull. A very like light pull, 8 PSI, 251 horsepower at 7,000. Now obviously, like, I'm not revving it all the way out yet, I'm still trimming it again, but that's a pretty good start, and it seems like maybe the wastegate is settled at about 8. So let's keep working on this tune a little bit and see where it gets us at 8 PSI all the way out at 9,000 RPM. Okay, final numbers on the S2000, 315 horsepower, 222 foot-pounds of torque at just barely 8 pounds of boost. So, definitely more in it, but I need him to be able to get home 5 hours, and his clutch is already slipping, which is probably why the graph kind of looks like this, but not a bad start. We can only go up from here.
How it used to, like exactly how it used to.
Yeah.
Like literally 100% how it used to. Just like the boost is just a plus now, but everything drives the exact same.
The way it drives is the same. I want to see if we can find a little bit more like up and down hill stuff like we were on at first.
Yeah.
Because that varied load is really nice for me to see. But we're really close to target everywhere, so I think we got it pretty good in the dyno. All right, let's do this. Bro, your clutch is slipping. Huh? Your clutch is slipping.
Yeah.
Dang it. That was some good pulls though.
Oh yeah, I'm getting a new clutch.
How did it go? It did good. It's got some kind of a light misfire though, so I'm going to figure that out really quick and then you should be fine. All right, sir, that's it. It's been an interesting ride, but I think we got it handled. You'll have to, wait, no, don't call me if you break down halfway back home. Just, I'll give you a different phone number.
Yeah, for sure.
No, you should be pretty good to go. This car feels pretty solid. Woo, it's a long trip, 5 hours.
I'll make it.
5 hours with that big old turbo just screaming. I think you'll be just fine.
Screws for the hood in here?
They're in the box, yeah. Paint match one. All right, man. Have a good trip.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, that wraps up the video for the week. We'll catch you guys next week. But before we go, I'll leave you with a clip or two. Next time at Gearheads. Gotcha, bro. Is it time? It is so time.